Parashat Balak. Parashat Balak, Tafshin Pedalid. So the Zohar. So I want to give you first an idea from the Lubavitcher Rebbe, which is always nice, and then after that I want to get a little Kabbalistic and hopefully give you a side to the story that I don't think you probably ever heard. Hopefully, let's see. First of all, the Zohar says you have Balak and Bil'am. I said yesterday when I spoke in Shul that it's an unbelievable story. You have these two guys, Balak and Bil'am, they're standing way on top of a mountain. We're in the desert, and they're in Rosh HaPisgah. Imagine two guys on the top of a cliff, looking down at us and trying to kill us. We have no idea what's going on. Just two people with very bad intentions. Balak and Bil'am were like, if you remember as kids, like the bad guy movies, the two worst guys, like put them together. The two worst bad guys. I'm forgetting, thank God. Like, who are the bad guys in Batman again? The Scarecrow? Is that the guy?
Joker and the Penguin.
The Joker and the Penguin. Thank you. You know, I was always worried I would never forget, and I'm very happy I'm starting to forget. Thank God. The two worst guys together, Balak and Bil'am. You got that too quick. Yeah. If you look at the letters of their names, ready, Akiva? Balak, Bet, Lamed, Kof. You know this one?
No.
Don't nod your head. Bil'am, Bet, Lamed, Ayin, Mem. So they both start with Bet. What's the last two letters of, let's do Bil'am first. What's the last two letters of Bil'am? Ayin, Mem. And the last two letters of Balak? Lamed, Kof. Spells? Amalek. The Zohar says, Balak and Bil'am, when they joined forces, they were like the worst of the worst. Amalek. And it gets into a lot of different things about where their neshamot come from, Cain and Hevel, and which we're not going to get so much into today. But we have to understand these two guys, really, really bad. You're talking about the worst sorcerer with actual powers, and another guy, Balak, with really bad intentions. And I want to talk about what is his problem. We'll talk about it. What is his psycho? Why is he so fixated on us? But we have to understand that when Hashem flips around their curse into a beracha, as Rabbi Victor Miller says, Hashem treated us to the most special words possibly in the whole Torah of Moshe Rabbeinu. The Torah, our Torah, is reserved for criticism. Even the prophets. It's criticism after criticism after criticism. You read it, you need a break from reading the prophets. Not by accident. Hashem, as Rabbi Miller writes in his book, Hashem is not interested in his book to dress us up and say, you guys are the best. Maybe in other religions they get busy with this. You guys are the best. You guys are going straight. In Judaism, it's always, you got a job to do. It's a Jewish mom. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. It's criticism. Hashem, at the end of the story of the desert, makes one exception. He says, you know what, guys? I'm going to tell you what I really think of you once. But I'm not even going to let Moshe tell you. Why can't Moshe Rabbeinu tell us all the good things? Ma tovu alecha Yaakov, how beautiful you are. No. Moshe Rabbeinu, criticism. The whole Sefer Devarim. Give us a break, man. No, the good things have to come from the Goy. The Goy has to come and say, you guys are amazing. Not by accident. And not even to our face. We have to read about it in the book because we didn't even know he said it. He's on top of some cliff. It's so powerful. The Gemara says that when the Hachamim were saying, we know Shema Yisrael, it's a mitzvah to say Shema Yisrael every single day. That's the pasuk, Shema Yisrael, but what do you say after the pasuk? So the rabbis wanted to put the parashat of Bil'am. It says in the Gemara. They said, we should read the parasha of Bil'am every single day. All the things he said. Imagine, we're like a lion, we're like this. But they said we can't do it. Why? Torah Sibur. It's too long. If it was a little shorter, the Kriya Shema that we say every single day, as we know it, it'd be replaced with Matovu Alecha Yaakov, and the whole thing we just read yesterday. The words of Bil'am Rasha would be on our lips 3 times a day. But Torah Sibur is too long. So we had to make something shorter for the people. See the power in Bilam's words? In addition, if I were to ask you, Moshe, where in the Torah of Moshe do you find most of the words about Mashiach? Most of the prophecies about Mashiach? Would you think it's Bilam? This parasha is most we can find about Mashiach in the Torah of Moshe.
He actually used the word
Acharit Yamim, the end of days. In fact, very rarely, in fact, if you look at the Rambam, I'll read you one word from the Rambam. Rambam is a halakha sefer. Yada hazaka. This is a halakha sefer. He's trying to tell us it's a halakha, we must believe in Mashiach. Says the Rambam, Hamelech HaMashiach, the king Mashiach, Atid la'amod, he's going to come, Ulahazil Machut David, and return the kingship of David, Lioshna, to the way it was. Lamemshalah Halishuna, to the original rulership, Ubonei HaMikdash, he's going to build the Beit HaMikdash. This is a halakha. This is a halakha. He's going to build the Beit HaMikdash. If he doesn't do that, he's not Mashiach. These are ramifications. Umikabes Nechei Israel, he's going to gather all the people, which means the king of Mashiach has to be a kiruv rabbi. Anybody out there who has a rabbi with a long white beard and they say, my rabbi is Mashiach, is he in the kiruv business, like Chabad? Is he in the kiruv business? No. He just sits in his room all day long, but he's the biggest, he's not Mashiach. Out. He's missing the ramification. He has to be Mikabes Nechei Israel. That's why the Lubavitch Rebbe maybe could have been Mashiach. He's going to resume all the laws that we had. Makribin korbanot, he's going to bring back korbanot. Ve'osin shemitin v'yobelot, shemita, yovel, all the laws we had. Kechol mitzvata ha'amura b'Torah. Any law, and so the job of Mashiach is to actually do these things. It's not so much a resume, and this is the resume. Did you do these things? If you didn't do these things, you're not Mashiach. That's why people will say Jesus is Mashiach. How could Jesus be Mashiach? When did these things ever happen? When did it ever happen? Is the lion sleeping with the lamb? No. People are still killing each other. Mashiach didn't come. If you don't believe Mashiach is coming, or you believe he's coming, but you don't really wait, you don't anticipate him coming, you don't care. You're not only rejecting all the prophets in the Torah, you're also rejecting the Torah of Moshe that we read in Shul. Why? Where in the Torah does it say Mashiach? Shaarey, the Torah talks about it. Half the Pesukim Rambam brings as proof are all Bilam's words. And he says, it says in the Torah, I will see it, but not now. Where's that? Yesterday's parasha. Zeh David, it's Bilam's words. Ashurenu v'lakarov, Zeh Melech HaMashiach, also pasuk from Bilam. Darach kochav mi Yaakov, a star will shoot from Yaakov. It's talking about Mashiach David. This is what we're talking about. Bilam said these words. That's why they thought Bar Kochba was Mashiach. His name was Bar Koziva. They called him Bar Kochba. He's the shining star that Bilam was talking about. V'kam shevet b'Yisrael, a ruler is going to come from Bnei Israel. Bilam's word. V'kakal kol b'nei Eshet, Zeh Melech HaMashiach. Bilam. Umashlo miyam ad yam. It's very similar to the pasuk that Bilam said. Edom Yeresha, he will conquer Edom, Rome, America. Zeh David, it's Mashiach. Bilam said this. Fati Edom David Amadim. Yeresha, Zeh Melech HaMashiach. Also Bilam said this. 3/4 of the Pesukim that Rambam brings as a proof for Mashiach is from Bilam. That's unbelievable. One of the Pesukim that Bilam says when he's talking about Mashiach is V'yerd mi Yaakov. V'yerd mi Yaakov. You might think it means V'yerd, he will go down. That's not what the word means. V'yerd is a ruler. V'yerd mi Yaakov is a ruler. A ruler will come. Someone in charge will come from Yaakov. Rashi says, it's talking about Melech HaMashiach. And Rashi brings a pasuk in Tehillim. Pasuk in Tehillim says that Mashiach will go miyam ad yam, from sea to sea. It's Tehillim 72. The Mashiach will rule from sea to sea, uminahar ad ha'aretz, and from the river until the edge of the land, says the pasuk in Tehillim. Now hold on 1 second. You hear these words? From sea to shining sea, From sea to sea, there's America, and from the river until the end of the land. Now, that's unbelievable that the people who hate us right now, they try to literally do the opposite of what Mashiach is supposed to do. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Mamash opposite of what Mashiach is supposed to do. I'm saying. Now, the Lubavitcher Rebbe says, and if you look at the Ibn Ezra, on this pasuk in Tehillim 67, Ibn Ezra says, what river, what seas were we talking about? So he says, huh? Not the Hidekel, no. Pirat he doesn't say, although it could be the Pirat, but he doesn't say it. He says it's the Akionus, the Red Sea. The sea is the Red Sea until the Mediterranean Sea. And the Nahar, it could be the Pirat, which is the Euphrates. We're not sure. Ad Sof Ma'arav, says the Bin. What does it mean, Adaf Se'aris? Min Nahar, from the river until the end of the land. From the river until the end of the west. I wonder if it's the end of the west or it's the end of the west. I don't know which one it is. Mashiach's going to take. Because from sea to shining sea, which other countries? From sea to shining sea. America. We don't know which one it is. It could be both. Because it says, Ve'ayat Edom Yeresha. He's going to conquer Rome. That's America. While we're here, the Lubavitcher Rebbe says, Mashiach. That's what it says. The Lubavitcher Rebbe says, what is the difference between a sea and a river? Yam and a Nahar. Why does it have to say two different things? And he says very simply, the water that's inside of the Yam in the ocean is hidden. You can't see the life that's down there unless you go down there in it. And so that signifies we have two jobs to do if we want to bring Mashiach. Number one, internal. We work on yourself on things no one can see. Your midot, no one can know what's going on. But then you have Katzvei Aretz, the end of the land. On the land, everyone is above the land. Everyone can see. And so you have two jobs to do. Work on your inner avodah, your inner work to Hashem, but it has to come out and portray itself out there for people also. Not just to be a hermit. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe says at the end of the Sikha over here, he says you cannot just be a perfect religious person sitting at home all day in your own Dalad Amot studying Torah. That's going to do nothing. It's not going to bring Mashiach. It has to be out there in the land. What about the Nahar, a river? A river, the water in the sea, you have to go to the sea to get the water. It doesn't deposit that water anywhere. The river is depositing the water from the ocean all over the place. So the river brings it out. That's the job of a river. And the tributaries, is that what it's called? Yeah. I said it right? It's to bring out the water, to feed everyone. And that's what we have to do for Mashiach as well. So a very, very long sikha in a very, very short amount. And I'm thinking to myself, amazing. From the river to the sea, they want it to be free. It's an amazing thought. Because we're learning here, between the river and the sea, we're supposed to fill it up with goodness. What is their goal? I was thinking to myself, our goal now, I just learned, from the river to the sea is to fill it up with goodness. It's a positive, actionable goal. What do they want? From the river to the sea will be free. They want a vacuum. I wonder, what do you want in the land? Do you ever talk about what you want in the land? Anti-Zionists. What do you want in the land? Stop talking about what you don't want. I know you don't want me in the land. What do you want in the land? They don't talk about that. All they care about is being the vacuum of us, free from us. Nothing in their slogan talks about what they actually want to build. Our Tehillim, teaches us, Miyam ad yam ad anahar az haaretz. You have to fill it up with goodness. They just want to take it away. They just want to counteract our Mashiach. They want to take it away. What do they want to build? They don't say. They just want to be free. And I always wonder, okay, after you're free, then what? What's the goal? You have like a 30-year goal? There's no 30-year goal. It's just free. Free from what? Free from spirituality. And so we see here the words of Bilam, they're jam-packed. They should have been Kiryat Shema. They're Mashiach. They're half of Rambam's proofs that Mashiach exists is going to be Parashat Bilam. And I want to talk about the people for a second. Who are these guys, Bil'am and Balak, and why do they hate us so much? So in past years, we spoke about Bil'am. Yariv mentioned it just now, so I'll just refresh memory. We spoke about this in past years. Yonatan bin Uziel says, the Arizal says, Bil'am is Lavan. Either Lavan himself, or the son of Lavan, or the grandson of Lavan. Either way, that's why it says when Yaakov and Lavan were making a treaty before they parted ways, they took stones and they built a pile. And they said, Ed hagalazeh ve'edah hamasivah hazot. This pile of rocks is our witness. If I cross this pile of rocks to go towards Aram, says Yaakov, then the God of Nahor should hurt me. And if you cross this rocks to go towards me out of Aram, then my God should hurt you. God of Yaakov, of Yitzhak should hurt you. Right? And that's why it says the donkey, as Bil'am, min Aram yarhani, when Bil'am is coming from Aram, the place of Laban, the donkey is pushing his feet against the rocks, the walls. He's saying, so the Hamor is opening his mouth to Bil'am and saying, Hamor, you're the Hamor. Do you not feel the rocks? Remember the rocks of your father, of your grandfather? You're not allowed to pass this rock. It's the same pile of rocks. You're not allowed to pass it. And the Hamor, talking about Bil'am, didn't get the signal about the rocks, and didn't get the signal about a talking monkey, and didn't get the signal about an angel, and he kept going along. So we've dealt with Bil'am in the past, that Bil'am is Lavan. That's why we say in Haggadah, Arami Oved Avi. The Arami tried to destroy the nation. When did Lavan never try to destroy the nation? Bil'am tried to destroy the nation. The same guy. Lavan, if you look at the word Lavan, Lamed, Bet, Nun, Lamed is for Lavan, Bet is for Bil'am, Nun is for Naval, which is the same three letters as Lavan. Naval, later on in the story of David, was the third reincarnation of Lavan. So we know who Bil'am was. We did this in past years. Who's Balak? Have you ever heard of who Balak is?
Wasn't he like the accessory tomorrow?
Bil'am was.
No, Bilam. And he had two boys.
Listen to the Zohar, guys. Ready for this one? The Zohar says, Balak bin Sipor. Who's Balak bin Sipor?
From Ito.
Yitro's son.
Yeah, he refused to convert with the rest of the...
Very good.
The
Yitro's son. Now, Sipor, Yitro had 7 names. Either his son or his grandson. Let's say son. Yitro had 7 names. Sipor would be the 8th name. And he named his daughter Sipora. Sipora. Sipora, you add the he at the end of the word, it makes it the female bird, it makes it the holy bird that we bring as korbanot. The best of Sipor, he gave to Sipora. The best of Yitro went to the daughter, Sipora, and Moshe married her. And the worst of Yitro went to his son, Balak. Which means it's too close for comfort. Bnei Israel are sitting in the desert, happily ignorant. Ignorance is bliss, not knowing what's going on. 2 crazy guys are looking at them from the heaven, from the top of the cliff. One of them is their great uncle Lavan, or his son. The other one is Moshe Rabbeinu's brother-in-law. Moshe Rabbeinu's brother-in-law, Balak. Why is he so mad? First of all, this guy came. He took my sister. He made her a radical Jewish person. He took my father. He made him Jewish. Balak is the worst of everything Yitro had. So now we know Balak and Bil'am, 5 minutes ago they were 2 crazy strangers. They're not crazy strangers anymore. They're actually closely related. Why is Bil'am so angry at the Jewish people? Did you know that Bil'am had children? You know what their names were? Bil'am had 2 children, says the Zohar. Yunus and Yamberus.
Yamberus, Yunus and Yamberus.
Who were they?
They were in Egypt. They were the Hatumim that we're doing with the Tanin.
So hold on. So let's take it one step at a time. There were Hatumim in English. There were the sorcerers that copied the signs of Moshe. What else do you know about them? What happened to them after that?
I know they were involved with the whole staff and the snake.
After that. What happened to them? Did they die in one of the plagues?
No, they were with you.
They were the Erev Rav.
They were the two leaders of the Erev Rav. So Bilam's took. So now you ask yourself, how'd they make the golden calf? How'd they make this magical calf out of gold? They had two sorcerers, the son of a sorcerer. Bilam's two kids, which means Bilam's two kids left him and converted to Judaism. He's an anti-Semite. His two kids went and joined Judaism. Now he hates us also. They died during the Egel. The Zohar says, how many people died at the Egel? It says in the Pasuk. 3,000. 3,000 people died at the Egel. You know what the Zohar says? Not 3,000 people died. 2 people died. Yonus and Yumberus. They were equal to 3,000 people. That's what the Zohar says. Which means, now Bilam, in addition, Balak is upset. You took my family members to your religion and you left me behind. Bilam is upset. You took my family members to your religion and you left me behind, but you killed my 2 kids. My 2 kids died at the Egel. Now I hate you even more. You see the level of hatred from Bilam and Balak? We're not done. We're not done. There's a Gemara in Sotah, page 46. Well, first I'll tell you the Ben Ish Chai. The Ben Ish Chai says, no, let's go to the Gemara first. Let's just tell you the story from, in case you don't know it. Akiva, you want to share the story from Kings? From Elijah. Not Eliyahu, Elisha. Yes, what's before that? Before that. No, whoa, after that. We rewind it too fast. Let's do it. Eliyahu Hanavi goes up to Shamayim in a fiery blaze. He leaves behind his student, Elisha. Elisha takes over for Eliyahu and starts doing miracles. The second miracle that he does when he hits the show, the people from Yericho, they tell Elisha, this is a wonderful place to live. That's what they say. It's a wonderful place to live, but the water is very bitter. Could you please help us with our water? And so Elisha says, I can help you with the water. What does he take? Come on, Moshe, you're on a roll today. What does he take? Salt, Joey says. He took salt and he throws it into the waters of Jericho, and it sweetened the waters of Jericho. Just like Moshe Rabbeinu and Mara with the staff, he threw the salt into the water, and the water was killing people. People were it wasn't just untasty. It was deathly water. It was poisonous water in the town of Yericho. After he does that, he's walking out of the town of Yericho, and a bunch of Ne'arim Kitanim, a bunch of young lads, not chasing him, a bunch of young lads are yelling at him, making fun of him. Now say what you want to say. Ale kereach, ale kereach. 1 second. Shwaya. What do they tell him? They tell him, go ahead, Baldy. Out of here, Baldy. Go out of here, Baldy. Elisha was bald. B-A-L-D. Bald. Eliyahu Hanavi, his predecessor, was very hairy. As we know, it says straight out in when he described him, he was a very hairy man. Elisha was bald. They're making fun of him. Baldy, get out of here. What kind of disgusting kids are these? Na'arim ketanim, young lads. Elisha turns to them. He says, you're making fun of me? He curses them, and out come from the forest 2 bears and they tear 42 of these kids to pieces. This is what it says in Melachim. Now we're going to go learn the Gemara in Sotah. You like my trick Gemara? Look at this. You see this Gemara? They made it upside down. Yeah, it's upside down.
What is it?
The cover is upside down. Sometimes I feel like my head is upside down. The Gemara, huh? This is a Navi.
Killing 42 kids?
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
A little aggressive.
A little aggressive. You're talking about aggression? A little aggressive, no? Says the Gemara. Gemara Sotah, page 46. Says as follows. My unarim ketanim. Gemara says, Kol she'eno melaveh. I should say the person's name. Rabbi Yohanan says in the name of Rabbi Meir. Kol she'eno melaveh. If you don't escort your guest out of town, ki'ilu shofech damim. You could be leading to murder. You have to escort your guest out of town. You have to walk him out of town. How do you know? She'ilmaleh li yuhu anshe yerechol Elisha lo gerad dobim letinokot. If the people of the town would have walked him out of town, Elisha, these kids would never have opened their mouth if they saw their Rebbe there and their uncle there and their grandfather there. They wouldn't have said anything. He's walking alone out of town, and they talked to him, and they ended up dying. As it says, Kings 2, chapter 2. 1 second, okay? It's okay. As it says, Kings 2. Vayam Misham Bet El. He went from Yericho to Bet El. V'hu oleh baderech. He's walking on the road. Una'arim ketanim yatzi'u min ha'ir ve'yitkalesu bo. Na'arim ketanim, young lads, are coming out of the city. They're making fun of him. Vayomeru lo, and they tell Elisha, aleh kereach, go baldy, go baldy. Amru lo, aleh, why are they so mad at Elisha the prophet? Amru lo, aleh, get out of here. Why? You made this place bald for us. Why did they say it twice? Aleh kereach, go baldy, go baldy. Number one, because you're bald. Number two, you're making us bald. When there was no water to drink in town, we, the young, strong guys, will go get water from the next town, bring it here, and sell it for top dollar.
Money.
Now that you cured the water, we're out of business. So you're making us, our profits, bald, just like your head is bald. That's what they were saying to him. What does it mean, young lads? Na'arim kitanim. Usually a na'ar is a young lad, and a katan is a small kid. Which one were they? Young lads or small kids?
Young what?
Lad, L-A-D. Like a young lad, a young... Aman Abi Al-Azad, menu'arim min mitzvot. They were completely empty from mitzvot. These kids had nothing on their balance sheet good. That's why they died. They had nothing. Ketanim, they were Jewish. Ketanim, young boys, shayu mikitane emun emana. They had almost no belief in Hashem. Tana, we learned, ne'arim hayu. They were really young lads. They were like teenagers. Bizbezu atzman kekatanim, and they treated themselves like they were little kids. They had no responsibilities. They had nothing going for them. So the Gemara says, Vayifen aharav vayadem. He looks after them, Elisha, and he sees them. Vayadem. Vaykalalem beshem Hashem, and he curses them with the name of Hashem. Mara'ah. What does it mean? And he saw. What did he see? If you look, he turned around and he cursed them. No, he turns around and he looks at them. What are you looking at? Amar Rav says, Ra'a mamash. It means he saw them literally, which means when you curse someone curses someone, they need to look at them for the, like Bil'am and balak. He says you can see them from here. Shmuel says, Ra'a shikulan et abera bahen iman beyom kippurim. He saw that all these 42 kids came from a union. Their parents were together on Yom Kippur, which is forbidden. So these were all rotten unions, all 42 of these kids, which seems that there were a lot more kids, but only the 42 who were their parents were together on Yom Kippur. It says the Ben Ish Chai, that's why it says Vayad Em. he saw their mothers. He saw what day their mothers conceived them. Rabbi Yitzhak of Ha'amad, Rabbi Yitzhak says, Belorit ra'alahem ke'emoraim. These 42 guys had ponytails. And they looked like non-Jews, like emoraim, like idol worshippers, ponytails. Vayar'em, Moshe. The word vayar'em, the same letters can spell the word emori. Vayar'em, emori. Rabbi Yohanan says, Ra'a shelo hayta bahen lihluhit shel mitzvah. They had no even wetness from a mitzvah, nothing. They had nothing good, these boys. Maybe they would have good kids. Amar Rabbi Elazar, lo bam velo bezra'am ad sof kol adorot. He knew, he saw in the future, not one of these 42 kids would ever have a good person. How could they have such horrible nishamot? I'll tell you. Let's finish the story.
They came from.
Vatetsena shetaim duvim. 2 bears came, min hayar, from the forest. Vatibakana mehem arba'im ushne yeladim. And they tore apart the 42 boys, says the Gemara. Rab u'Shmuel. Rab and Shmuel disagree. Hadamad nes. One says it was one miracle, which means the bears were created. The Hadamad nes betoch nes. It was 2 miracles. Why? Hashem created a forest where there wasn't a forest, and then he had to put the bears in the forest. Amar Rabbi Hanina. Now, what does this have to do with Parashat Balak? This is what it has to do. Pay attention. Amar Rabbi Hanina, says Rabbi Hanina, Beshpil 42 korbanot she'ekriv Balak melech Moav. Huvki'u 7 times. Huvki'u miYisrael 42 yeladim. 7 bulls and rams, which is 14 sacrifices, 3 times. 14 and 14 is 42. Because Balak brought 42 sacrifices to Hashem to curse the Jews, 42 young Jews had to die. What?
And via curse.
Via curse. What? Gemara says, Annie, is that true? You should do Torah mitzvot, even shelo lishma, even without good intentions. How do we know? Because it says, since Balak brought 42 korbanot to Hashem, even with bad intentions, he was zochet to have Ruth HaMoabiyah and Naaman come out of him. 2 good girls came out of him as a reward for sacrificing 42 korbanot to Hashem. So we see that he got rewarded for this. No, not Naaman. Not Naaman. It says Eglon benot shel. It says Ruth bito shel Eglon, and I think also one more girl. That doesn't say her. Let's just go with Ruth. And so we see from here that you get rewarded. He got rewarded. So it wasn't a bad thing he did. So why we have to be punished? Gemara says both has to happen. He did do a good thing by bringing sacrifices, so he gets rewarded. We get rewarded for that, but he meant to curse, and so we had to get punished for that. Okay. The Gemara finishes the story, and then we'll go back and explain it. What happens after that story? The Gemara says, by the way, in the pretense of the story, the first story part that happened, the people say to Elisha, we love this town, but the water stinks. So the Gemara says, this is a good town. Yerushalayim is a nice town. We like it. Like you can see, but there's no water. Gemara says, you have a town with no drinking water. Flint, Michigan. You have a town with no drinking water. The water is killing people. It's burying people. People are dying left and right in this town from the water. Why do you say it's a good town? How could you say a town with bad water that kills people is a good town? What that says, we learn from here, Amar Rabbi Hanin, Hen makom al yoshevav. Hen makom al yoshevav. A person loves the city he lives in no matter how bad it is. He'll never say, very rarely will get up and say, The place I live in stinks. The water kills people. Gemara says, and with this we'll two more things and we'll finish this story. Amar Rabbi Yohanan, Shilosha Hinot. There are three things that a person is like blinded by love. He doesn't listen to the truth. Whatever is really happening, it doesn't matter. He's just in love with these three things.
Children.
One, nope. My kids are here. You made me say that. Number one, Hen makom al yoshevav. A person loves the place they live. It could even mean the house that you live in. I used to be long time ago, in the house selling business, short sales. People didn't want to go. This is my house. I can't let go of my house. I have all my memories in my house. But your house stinks. Your house is underwater. No, they can't let go of that. It's my house. Hen makom al yoshevav. That's number one. Hen isha al ba'ala. A person loves and is attracted to his wife. Your wife is not too attractive anymore. It's to him she is. To him she is, if you do it right. And the third, hen mekach al mekaho. When a person buys something, they're happy with the thing they bought. You bought this thing. This is the worst phone you bought. No, I like my phone. I bought it. The person, right away, when a person buys something, they like what they bought. Gemara says, just to wrap up the story, Elisha was punished. Tanun Banan, the rabbi said, Shilosha Holayin Hala Elisha. He had to get 3 types of illnesses to atone for this. One sickness, because he got these 2 bears to kill these 42 boys. Another sickness because he pushed away Gehazi, who was this bad attendant that he had. He didn't let him come back. He made him Sarati, get out of here. Don't ever come back. And you should never close the door completely on someone. And the last one is what he died in. Now, says the Mikubalim. When Balak and Bil'am made the 42 korbanot to Hashem, they created 42 neshamot, 42 souls had to be created because of the 42 korbanot that they made that ended up going nowhere. These 42 souls were rotten souls, created by bad intentions, and were pending to go into the bodies of 42 kids. They went into the body of the 42 kids. Like Moshe said, they would be terminated from the body by another curse. Just like they were created with a curse in mind, so too they had to be liberated by a curse. So Elisha, says the Ben Ish Chai, liberated these boys. Liberated them. He did them a favor. Further, liberated the souls.
So why was he punished?
He was punished because you still don't do that. That's how the way Hashem works.
Go after, you don't.
Number 2. Says the Ramamipano, Balak and Bil'am. What happened to them after the story? Did they ever come back?
What? Bilam died by the sword they both.
Yeah, but that's not enough. Where's the bigger punishment? Akiva? Where's the bigger punishment? They got to be punished. Balak and Bil'am, says the Ramamipano. One day, you trying to curse the Jewish people. One day, there's going to be people cursing